Hey, this is MJ, and in today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to make our Snuggle Season beanie. We'll be working on the child size in today's tutorial, and you can see it has a beautiful post and puff stitch design. This pattern includes newborn all the way up to large adult, so make sure to check the description box below the video for the link to the pattern with all the sizes. The yarn that I'll be using for this pattern is Brava Tweed worsted weight yarn. This yarn is from We Crochet, and it is 100% acrylic, and it has the gorgeous little flecks. There's lots of nice colors to choose from, and I've made several hats in different colors, so you can check out the pictures to see if there's a color that you specifically like. The hooks that I'm using are also from We Crochet. I'm using their Dots hooks, and the Dots hooks come in a set of 9 from size 2mm to 6mm, and the sizes that we'll need for this pattern are the 5mm and the 4mm. I'll be using a snap style faux fur pom-pom from Amazon, and these are the little snap pieces that we sew to the top of the hat. The size that I'm using is a 5-inch, and I'm also using my personalized tags for the front of the hat, and I'll show you how to attach the pom-pom and sew the tag as well. These tags are from Brick Bubble, and I just use some embroidery thread to sew those on. So you'll make sure to have a yarn needle for weaving in the ends and sewing on your tag and your snap. So this hat is worked from the bottom up, and working hats from the bottom up, it is a really great way to double check sizing before you work the entire hat. So you make the band, and if this band is going to fit around your head, remember you're going to want some stretch, then you'll know if it's going to be the suitable size. And it's really easy to adjust this hat for whatever size you want to make it. It's worked in a multiple of 4, so you're just going to add 4 rows per size. So for instance, the size we're making for this tutorial has 64 rows. If you want to make a size smaller, do 60. If you want to do a size smaller than that, do 56. Or you could increase also by 4 rows. It's going to be really easy to modify for really any size head, but starting from the bottom of the hat like this gives you a little bit of an idea as to if the hat is going to fit. So with your smaller hook, we're going to put a slip knot on the hook and chain out 21. Then we'll work a single crochet in the second chain from the hook and in each chain across. So we'll be working across 20 stitches. So we'll chain 1 and turn, and now we're going to work through the back loops only. So work a single crochet through the back loop only of each stitch across. We'll chain 1 and turn and work single crochets through the back loop. So this is what you'll be doing for the entire band. And for this size, we're going to be working a total of 64 rows. What I find is easiest is to count by the ridges you see. So this accounts for 2 rows. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and you want a total of 64. So now we'll chain 1. So now we want to fold the band together. We're going to work through the back loop and go over to that starting chain, and we're going to slip stitch for every stitch. This is going to join the band together to form the start of the hat. And once you get this done, you can, if you're making it for yourself, you can try it on. If you're making it for a child, you can give it a try on and see if the sizing is good. It's really easy at this point to pull out the seam and take a few rows away or add a few rows. You want to go in multiples of 4 though, so subtract 4 or increase by 4. Then at the end, we'll chain 1. You're going to leave the seam right here because when you fold the hat over, you're not going to notice it and you're going to see it blends right in really well. So leave the seam to the outside. We're now going to work 1 single crochet per row around. So we know we have 64 rows. We need to work 64 stitches. So it's a good idea to count. There's 2. Now I find it's really easy to pinpoint your rows. One of your rows is going to be a little bit thicker, heavier stitch here. And then 1 row is going to only be a little bit of a loop there. And then you're back to that thicker row and then the little loop row. Okay, so I'm going to continue this all the way around, and I'm going to continue also to count those stitches so I know I'm on track. So I'm going to change over to my larger hook. I'm going to slip stitch to join and chain 2. So now for this round, I'm going to work a half double crochet into every stitch around. So we're going to yarn over. We're going through the first stitch. Through the next stitch. And we're going to work this all the way around. It's a good idea to count just to make sure that you are still at 64 stitches and we're not including the chain 2 as a stitch. Okay, so we're going to slip stitch to join, chain 2, and half double crochet in the first stitch. And we're going to work a front post double crochet in the next. So this is probably the most tricky row kind of to get it started, but as long as you pay attention, it should work out okay. So this one, we've done a half double crochet for that stitch. The next stitch right here, we want to do a front post double crochet. So we're yarning over, we're going to go down around the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. Here is our next stitch, and we'll work a half double crochet, yarn over, the next stitch, so this is the one for the half double, the next stitch we'll do another front post double. So half double, and then a front post double. So we're alternating that around. We're going to get all of these posts established. Once they're established, it'll be really easy to find them and work into them. Here's this hat here. So we're going to have all of these posts in every other stitch around. So now you want to be ending with a front post double crochet in the last stitch. and you should have 64 stitches. Now I'm going to slip stitch to join. I'm going to chain 2, and then I'm going to turn my work. And the reason that we're going to turn is when we work our puff stitches, we need to be doing them on the wrong side so they pop out to the right side. So now we ended with a front post. So now that we've turned, we're going to start with the post, but we're going to do a back post double crochet. So we're going to yarn over, and we're going around the post now across the back. So pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. And now the next stitch, which is our half double below us, below in the previous row or round, we want to work a puff. So we're going to yarn over, go through the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the same stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, go back through the same stitch, pull up a loop. So you should have 7 loops on your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yarn over, pulling through all the loops, and chain 1. Then we'll be at another post, and we'll work a back post double crochet. So you're kind of looking to the back of your work, working around that post. And now the next stitch, we work a half double crochet. So we're alternating. We're not going to do a puff stitch in every half double. We're going to do a puff, then a half double, a puff, then a half double. But we're always working those back posts in the front post from the previous round. So this time we need to make a puff again. So yarn over, go through the stitch, pulling up a loop, yarn over, back in the same stitch. And the third time, yarn over, pulling through all 7 loops on your hook, chain 1. Back post double. So remember, you're always yarning over, going down around the post, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And then a half double in the next. And then a back post in the next. And then another puff. So we're going to continue this pattern all the way around. So this round is a little slower. You need to take your time. You need to make sure you're working in the right stitches. You're not missing any posts, and that you remember you're alternating between half doubles and puffs. So a lot of things to think about. Just take this round slow, and I'll meet you back up at the end. Okay, so I'm ending with a half double crochet. Then I'm going to slip stitch to join, chain 2 and turn. And this round will be like the first. We're just going to be doing a half double crochet in each stitch between our front post doubles. So we're going to yarn over, going to do a half double crochet in the first, then a front post double crochet in the next, and in the top of our puff, we're going to do a half double. And then we're doing a front post double. Then a half double, and a front post. So you're just doing this now all the way around. And then all you're doing for the hat is repeating the puff stitch round where we're turning, working on the wrong side, and our front post half double crochet round. So follow along with the pattern for as many rounds as you need, and then we'll meet back up. Okay, so I've been working on my hat and I have a total of 13 rounds. And if you just go by your puffs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I have done 6 of the puff stitch rounds. So we're going to end here for our child size. Now, if you wanted to make the hat taller, you definitely could do that, just adding an additional couple rounds. So now the next round, we're going to start doing some decreasing. So let me join back on chain 1 and turn, and I'm just going to move my camera in a little closer. So now to do the decreases, we're going to start this round by skipping the half double crochets. We're going to work in to the other stitches but skip all of the half doubles. So we're going to start with a front post double crochet, and we'll work our half double crochet in the puff as normal. Front post double crochet, then I'm going to skip the half double and work a front post double crochet into the next. So half double crochet in the puff, front post double crochet, front post double crochet, half double in the puff. Okay, and we'll continue working this around. So I'm ending with a front post, and I'm going to slip stitch in my first front post double crochet to join. Okay, and now I'm going to work front post doubles in every front post double around. So we're now skipping the half double crochet we worked in the last round. So 1, 2. So this is decreasing the hat even more because we're now skipping the half double crochet over the puff and just working in the front post stitches. And we're going to work that all the way around. Okay, so I've worked all the way around. I have 32 post stitches, which is half the stitches that we started with. I'm going to slip stitch to join, chain 1, and now I'm going to do front post double crochets together, 2 together. So we're decreasing now the front posts. Should chain 2, and you're going to yarn over, go around the post, pull up a loop, yarn over, pulling through 2. So you now have 2 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over again, go around the next post, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. Let's go through that again. So we're going to be doing this across every 2 posts. So we yarn over, we go around the post, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go around the next post, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. So if you're familiar with a double crochet decrease, it is worked the same. We're just going around the posts rather than into the stitch. So we'll be reducing this round by another 16 stitches. So cutting it in half again. Okay, so I'm going to go around working my decreases. So once you get all the way around, you're going to slip stitch to join, fasten off, and you can see our hole is pretty small now so that we can just weave our tail around to finish pulling it in. So take your yarn needle And we're going to go through the front loops only. Probably put a few on your hook, on your needle. Can at least get 2. And once you have worked all the way around, you can just pull it. You can see that that just pulls the top in nicely. I like to continue weaving around, and you can see we have some gapping. If you want to close some of that up, you can. Now your pom-pom is going to cover most of that, so it's not a huge deal. There's a little bit of gapping on the top of the hat. But I just like to go around and make sure that the hat is really secure, especially if it's being worn and washed. For a child, you want it to last, not come undone. Okay, and then I just go back in the opposite direction to give that tail a little more security. Can fasten that off, and we should have a tail here from the start that we can weave in and get that out of the way. And I like to do the same thing, go one way and back in the opposite direction. Okay, so this is how your hat's looking. Now, what we can do is add our finishing touches. So I like to find the seam at the back. It does blend in really well, but I can find it here. I like to just make sure that it's at the center of the back. And I'm going to attach the tag to the front. There's different types of tags you can use. There's ones that just flip over the side that you can use a little leather rivet to attach. This one we will need to sew on. So I'm just going to grab some embroidery thread and we'll do that together. So once you have it positioned, you're going to take your yarn needle with your embroidery thread. I like to push it through. You want to leave some for knotting at the end. So I'm going to leave a little bit of a tail. Then I'm going to pop up through the corner hole and go down through the next hole. And you come up. Now what I like to do is just push my yarn needle, because sometimes it's hard when you're coming through the back to find the hole. And then on this side, I then just push it up through the hole. Okay, and just continue. Make sure that you're sewing it on straight. Okay, so once you get around, you're going to have your 2 tails to the back. So I just take these and knot them up. Then you can take your tail and weave it just to get it out of the way. I just make sure I'm weaving it behind the actual tag. Okay, and now we can add this to the top. So you can use some of your embroidery thread for that if you want, or you can use the yarn depending on whether you can get your yarn through the needle. You want to make sure you have a needle that you can get through these little holes. I know that can sometimes be a challenge, so make sure you have a small enough yarn needle that you're working with. Now you don't have to add a pom-pom. You could leave the hat just like this. That is optional. So we take our snap, attach it to the top of the hat. This way you can remove the pom-pom when you wash your hats. Now I probably should have gone up to the center, but we're going to weave these tails down into the center of the hat when we knot them. So you go all the way around. You could even go around twice. Pull it back up through this one. I'm going to make sure that that's snug. I'm going to push my yarn tail down inside the hat. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this tail. You have to be careful sometimes when you're pulling. I have sometimes ripped the yarn if I'm tugging too tight. So just a heads up on that. And then I like to take these tails and weave them as well. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to fit both on this needle. Looks like I can get them both through. So I'm just going to weave this and trim those tails. Okay, so now we can attach our pom-pom. Find snap piece. Sometimes it's buried inside the pom-pom a little bit. And then we want to go give the pom-pom a blow dry. So blow drying it is going to fluff it out. So snap that on, give it a nice blow dry, and it will really fluff your pom-pom and make it stand out. So our hat pattern comes in baby size, our little 0 to 3 month, all the way up to large adult size. If you check the description box below the video, you're going to find all the links that you need, the link to our blog, the PDF, and the supplies used in the tutorial. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and tap the bell so you don't miss any of my new videos and tutorials. Thanks so much, guys. Have an awesome day.